On October 19th, 2017, humanity officially ran out of excuses. For decades, we've been looking for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. We looked for radio signals. We looked for Dyson spheres. We looked for biology. But while we were looking up, something flew right past us.
The media told you it was a rock. They called it Oumuamua. They said it was just a weirdly shaped asteroid tumbling through the dark. But they didn't tell you the whole story. They left out the one piece of data that terrified the astrophysics community. You see, rocks obey gravity. Comets obey heat. Oumuamua obeyed neither. According to the laws of Isaac Newton, this object shouldn't have been there, and it certainly shouldn't have moved the way it did. The math suggests that in 2017, our solar system was visited, and we were too afraid to admit that it wasn't nature. It was a machine.
Let's look at the hard data. No conspiracy theories, just physics. Oumuamua was weird from the start. Most asteroids in our system orbit the sun on a flat plane, like a dinner plate. But Oumuamua dropped in from above, moving at a blistering 196,000 miles per hour. That speed is the first clue. It meant it wasn't from here. It was unbound by the sun's gravity. It was our first confirmed interstellar visitor. But the strangeness didn't stop at the speed. As telescopes tracked it, they noticed it was tumbling every 8 hours. Based on the way it reflected light, astronomers realized this thing wasn't round. It was extreme. It was either shaped like a flattened pancake or a long, thin cigar, 10 times longer than it was wide. Nature rarely sculpts things like that. In the chaos of space, rocks get smashed into spheres or potatoes. They don't get machined into splinters. But shape is circumstantial. You can argue that maybe, just maybe, nature got creative. But you cannot argue with the trajectory. As Oumuamua passed the sun and began to head back out into the deep void, something impossible happened. It accelerated.
Now, physics allows for acceleration in space without engines. It happens to comets all the time. When a comet gets close to the sun, the ice on its surface boils off, creating a jet of gas. This is called outgassing. It acts like a natural rocket thruster, pushing the comet faster. This is what scientists hoped was happening to Oumuamua. They looked for the tail. They looked for the gas. They used the Spitzer Space Telescope to scan for heat signatures. They found nothing. Oumuamua was a dry stone, no water, no ice, no propulsion. Yet, the data showed a statistically significant non-gravitational acceleration. It was being pushed away from the sun by a mysterious force. If gravity pulls, and there was no rocket engine pushing, then what was moving it? There is only one force in the universe left that fits the math: light. Photons from the sun carry momentum. When they bounce off a surface, they impart a tiny, tiny push. For a heavy rock, this push is irrelevant. It's like throwing a tennis ball at a tank. But if the object was incredibly light, incredibly thin, and incredibly expansive, that sunlight becomes a hurricane.
This brings us to Avi Loeb. Avi isn't a YouTuber. He isn't a sci-fi writer. He was the chair of the astronomy department at Harvard University. The man breathes data. He looked at the acceleration. He looked at the lack of gas.
He calculated the mass-to-area ratio, and he published a paper that broke the scientific community. Loeb proposed that for Oumuamua to accelerate the way it did, strictly by sunlight, it had to be less than a millimeter thick. A giant, ultra-thin, reflective sheet. Nature doesn't make huge millimeter-thin sheets of metal, but civilizations do. We call them light sails. We are currently building this exact technology on Earth with the Starshot project. It is the most efficient way to travel between stars without carrying heavy fuel. Loeb's hypothesis was simple. Oumuamua fits the mathematical profile of an artificial solar sail. Maybe it was a probe. Maybe it was a sensor. The scientific community reacted with fury. They attacked his reputation. They invented complex theories about hydrogen icebergs that had never been seen before, just to avoid saying the A word. But as Loeb famously said, science is not about what we want to be true. It's about following the evidence. And the evidence points to a manufactured object.
But here is the darker twist, the deconstruction of our ego. When we think of aliens, we think of Independence Day. We think of them coming to conquer us or to teach us. We think we are important. But Oumuamua wasn't trying to talk to us. It didn't slow down. It didn't scan us. It didn't maneuver. It was tumbling uncontrollably. Do you know what tumbles in space? Trash. Imagine a plastic cup thrown out of a car window on a highway. It tumbles in the wind. The ants on the side of the road might look at it and worship it as a monolith from the gods. But to the driver, it was just garbage. If Oumuamua was a light sail, it was likely a broken one, a piece of space junk from a civilization that might have died 1 billion years ago, or maybe a buoy that drifted off course. This is the true cosmic horror. It's not that they are coming to destroy us. It's that they are so advanced and we are so primitive that they litter in our solar system and don't even notice we are here. We aren't the main characters of this movie. We are the moss growing on the sidewalk of a galactic superhighway.
Oumuamua is gone now. It has passed the orbit of Neptune and is diving back into the eternal night. We will never catch it. But the door has been opened. Avi Loeb and his team are now building the Galileo project, a network of telescopes specifically designed to look for the next visitor. Because the math says there are millions more out there. The question isn't, do aliens exist? The physics of Oumuamua already gave us a high probability yes. The real question is, when the next one comes, and it will come, will it be another piece of trash? Or will this one be functional? And if it turns on, are we ready for what it has to say? I'm investigating the dark forest theory in my next video. You don't want to miss that. Comment below, was Oumuamua a rock or a relic? I'm Deconstruct the Future. Thanks for deconstructing the future with me.